This apology recognises the importance of the relationship between the Council of Deans of Nursing and Midwifery and CATSINaM, and demonstrates our ongoing value of our relationship. The importance of connection and strengthening the relationship between the Council of Deans of Nursing and Midwifery and the Congress of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander Nurses and Midwives is crucial if we are to change the status quo so that the future of nursing and midwifery is freed from the constraints of the oppressive practices in education, research, and clinical practice. Nursing and midwifery is not a cumbersome body of politics and policies like governments are, although I must admit sometimes it might look and feel that way, but it's not. Nursing and midwifery frameworks are more functional, less complicated, and more efficient than governments in enacting reforms where it is needed. Our nursing and midwifery history attests to the many effective changes from the development of theory to education through research and better nursing and midwifery care practice. We are change makers, one professional body inclusive of different cultures and worldviews, knowledge and skills, working to a unified code of practice and standards of care. Professor Strickland's apology makes way for building a new season in our relationship, where we agree and begin the work of closing old doors of outdated or harmful behaviour and practices, and together through partnership and collaboration, new doors are opened to develop better practice through higher levels of operations of legislative changes. We take the eagle's eye view. We can feel the wind of change and we start to soar. A turning of the tide reflective of our cries for justice and equity being heard. Justice in recognising the injustices that has happened and the intent or the intentionality of making those things that were done wrong to be made right. The apology opens the door for us to make a stand, positioning ourselves and aligning ourselves with the principles of justice and equity, and making a commitment to those things that have been harmful in a relationship will be watched over and processes are put in place so that those harmful practices become so diminished or eliminated altogether that they no longer have the power to do harm, and the toxicity of those harmful practices no longer hold power over us. Today, the apology from the Council of Deans, Nursing and Midwifery in Australia is welcomed and is long awaited. We know about the roles that nurses and midwives undertook in the punitive government policies that saw the taking of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander children from their families and communities, in establishing and maintaining racial segregation within hospital and health services, and through oppressive collegial behaviours towards Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander nursing and midwifery students, intentionally hindering and in some cases preventing students from becoming nurses and midwives and fulfilling their desire to help their own people. This apology is based on the premise that we have a professional relationship. We all belong to nursing and midwifery through the professions, and any form of discriminatory practice breaches that relationship and causes us harm. This apology must go beyond acknowledging the harmful legacy that nursing and midwifery professions have inherited, to committing to do better through purposeful action to prevent such harms from being repeated in today's nursing and midwifery. This apology must be demonstrated in purposeful action, which includes working together in real partnership for reform, recognising the unique knowledge and skills that Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander nurses and midwives bring to the professions, in developing reforms for better education, research, and clinical practice outcomes. This apology means we formally commit to each other to repair the professional breach and to also maintain a formal process of accountability to each other for the work we need to do and will do. Today, I believe that the spiritual and the natural worlds are converging, and a new door opens in the spirit world around us, and an old door closes. In our context, at this point of time, we take a stand through responding to the Council of Deans of Nursing and Midwifery's apology to move from the past way of doing nursing and midwifery in relation to First Nations nursing and midwifery context to breaking out into a new space to work in a new way together. We are in a season's change, and there will be transition. And transitions are always uncomfortable and painful, as anyone who's had a child and midwives know. But we are birthing something new here, in this place. And the pain is all worth the while at the arrival of the baby and the celebration of the birth. On behalf of CATSINaM, I thank you, Professor Strickland, for your gracious, courageous leadership in offering what has been a long-awaited words of life into our profession, into the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander nurses and midwives, and to our people. I echo your words to CATSINaM and accept your commitment. As a national peak body, you will work, and through your members, to collaborate with CATSINaM and with the other nursing and midwifery peak bodies, as well as regulatory organisations such as ANMAC and NMBA, to take a stand towards reconciling harms done. I echo that you will build a strong foundation towards culturally and clinically safe nursing and midwifery practice. I echo that you uphold and action CATSINaM's vision that Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander nurses and midwives play a pivotal and respected role in achieving health equity and equality across the Australian health system for Aboriginal and or Torres Strait Islander peoples and communities. I echo that the Council of Deans of Nursing and Midwifery commit to forming genuine partnerships with CATSINaM to develop the new way forward to providing safe and nursing and midwifery practice to Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people.